It's been a long season. We've been working for months, finding that 1% to get better, finding that belief in ourselves. The season is far from over, and we've got big goals. There's no time to slow down now. It's time to set the tone.
It's the final showdown of the MAC Gymnastics regular season, and it's a battle of the birds. It's the Ball State Cardinals playing host to the Eastern Michigan Eagles. We now welcome you inside Worthen Arena. Jordan Climbs, Sam Niger, happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone, but no four-leaf clover is going to be needed today. Not going to be any luck, going to be all skill out on the floor.
That's right, Jordan, and these are two teams that are itching for a win in this last regular season contest before the Mid-American Conference Tournament happens in this room and in this building next week.
Well, let's talk a little bit about some of that skill we'll see, starting with Eastern Michigan.
Well, for Eastern Michigan, their out-and-out leader is Raisa Morris. She's really the only true all-around for this Eagles squad. Team leader on the bars as well as the floor, second on the squad in vault and beam, and she is the senior that kind of gets this team going. Really the juice for this squad. She's a big spark plug, and a lot of the youngsters look to her for leadership. And then on the other side for Ball State, Victoria Henry, another stellar all-around for the Cardinals. We see a lot more all-around competitors for this Ball State team, and while Henry hasn't posted 10s like some of her teammates, she is just a bastion of consistency. The perfect combination of poise and power for this Cardinals squad. Look for her to have a big day.
And this is an important meet because it's the last one before the MAC Championship, which will be hosted right here in Worthen Arena. The last time that happened, some interesting history. And for more on that, let's welcome in the third member of our crew, JJ Grexton.
Thanks, Jordan. Ball State is set to host the MAC Championships this year for the first time since the 2015-2016 season. That year, Eastern Michigan won with a score of 196.425, and the Cardinals came in second with a 195.650. Both of these teams are looking to finish their regular seasons on a high note this afternoon, so it should be a really good matchup leading into the MAC Championships next weekend in Muncie.
It sure will be, JJ. Thank you for that. Ball State will be starting on the vault this afternoon, and it will be Eastern Michigan on the uneven bars. Let's get a little bit into each one of those events.
Get ready for gymnastics as we start vault. In this event, judges are looking for power and control as we fly off the springboard, focusing on height and straight lines while performing our skills. Each gymnast only gets to compete in one vault. Be sure to watch and cheer loud.
Let's get ready to swing. It's time to take flight on bars. Our routines need to have perfect handstands, big air in the release moves, and a stuck landing on that dismount. Be sure to watch closely as a lot of fast-moving parts are on display in this event, with smooth rhythm to make it look like we are flying.
As we get going, first it is Carissa Martinez on the vault.
And a big hop at the end there, Jordan, but she's pretty happy with that Yurchenko full. Nice way to start for the Cardinals.
Starts at a 9.95 starting value on that one for Carissa Martinez as we head over to the uneven bars.
And this is one of the strengths of the Eastern Michigan team. Their bread and butter is kind of the bars and the beam. Really smooth release there.
This is Molly Paris on the bars, by the way.
She's got great rhythm so far, nice handstands. Dismount is key. Little hop at the end, but you can tell by the reaction she should be amped about that routine.
Good handstands throughout, as you said, just that small little hop, but shouldn't be too much of a deduction. Well done by both squads early on.
Now you get one last look. Just a little hop backwards, but she had great lines on that release. As we take a look at another leader for Ball State, Megan Teeter.
It'll be her on the vault for Ball State. This is her first year competing in all-around. She's a fifth-year graduate here at Ball State, has given everything. Of course, senior day as well on this wonderful Sunday, and so a big day for her and the other three seniors.
Very big day, and vault not necessarily her strongest event. That was the last one she really had to add to her tool belt to be able to compete in the all-around, but you can see the smile. She looks confident. She looks ready. We'll see if she can nail this first routine.
Starting value, a 9.9 for Megan Teeter on the vault.
She's shooting for a hand front pike here. Great power, just a little hop, but that's a solid vault.
You said not her best event, but she's gotten so much better at it throughout the course of the season, and you just saw why.
Well, vault is all about power, Jordan. It's about the elevation that you're getting off the table. Great body control, and you see the lines there on either side of the mat. She lands right in the middle. That's what the judges are going to be looking for. You don't want to stray too far to the left or right, and Teeter pretty much nailed it.
Checking back, a 9.7 for Carissa Martinez on her first vault for Ball State. Still awaiting the uneven bars.
Just a little hold up here before Ella Shumati drops into the bars.
Shumati averaging 9.675 on the bars this year.
Solid release again. Teams bringing the energy here early. You can feel it in this building. Eastern Michigan bringing their own energy. Beautiful dismount. Little hop again, but plenty of power. Smooth routine.
Shumati very good on the bars in 2022. She was a MAC freshman of the year. She won bars that year as well at the MAC championships. As we head over to the vault, and Zoe Middleton, the stellar sophomore.
Yeah, just a sophomore, but competing in the all-around. Little hop at the end, but overall, another solid vault. Ball State starting with a lot of power, and they've got such great athleticism in their vault lineup, and it's showing here early.
Middleton's vault starts at a 9.95.
She's another one of those who does a Yurchenko vault, straying to the left a little bit there, as you see in the replay, but still smiling after the fact. No reason not to after a performance like that.
Couple of score updates. Molly Parrish, who went first in the bars for Eastern Michigan, 9.75. Megan Teeter on the vault for Ball State, also a 9.75. Still waiting Shumati's score on the bars, which is why, well, we had the holdup.
Well, the reason, Jordan, that some of those scores start lower, they tend to grow higher as the event goes on. So you're going to see, assuming that there's no falls, no slip-ups, the scores are going to gradually start to increase, and that's just the nature of judging as these girls try and one-up each other.
They give Shumati the go-ahead for the bars, and she'll begin.
Creative way into this routine from Trinity Macy. I love the energy that Eastern Michigan is bringing right now. That was a great handstand at the end as well. Best dismount we've seen. How about that stuck landing?
Pretty good for Eastern Michigan, coming in against a very solid Ball State team, leading the regular season, leading the MAC right now. But Eastern Michigan turning it on early.
Yeah, Eastern Michigan just 2-3 in Mid-American Conference play, just under 500 on the year at 7-8. As Suki Pfister steps up to vault. That was about as pretty as it gets from Suki Pfister.
Suki spectacular on the vault. One of the few players on the Cardinal squad who starts at a 10-0 start value. She could do some incredible things.
And I don't know that that's the perfect 10, maybe, Jordan, with the little hop at the end, but that could be the momentum that Ball State needs. Eastern Michigan has come out on fire, and they've taken it to the Cardinals here early, but maybe a vault like that from Pfister could get the Cardinals amped.
Still awaiting a score on the bars. Oh, we got time. Let's talk a little bit about the head coach for the Eastern Michigan Eagles.
Yeah, Katie Minnesola, 7th year at Eastern Michigan, and she'll be the first to tell you that her team feeds off of her energy, and they were very excited to see that she had beaten some sickness from earlier in the season back to full strength in terms of her health, and her team is happy to have her back in that category.
This is Jordan Jankowski on the uneven bars for the Eagles.
Really smooth again. I've loved the rhythm that I've seen from Eastern Michigan. And another perfect landing. Jordan, I don't know that I saw much of a deduction there anywhere.
Well, her career high is 9.85, set that this season. Maybe trying to chase it.
With a performance like that, it's quite possible.
On the vault, Hannah Ruthberg.
Oh, she fought for that landing too. And that's good stuff. Don't think she managed to step there at the end.
Starts at a 9.95 start value. And he said just a little bit of a hop at the end, or not too much of a hop, just a little bit off balance.
Yeah, she stuck it though. It's tough to stick the landing when you kind of stray to one side or the other, but she was able to hold on.
Well, there's Joanna Salim, the Ball State head coach. Her 12th year in the Cardinal program, has done so many fantastic things.
Oh yeah, she's put this program on the map. Her teams have held the top 15 scores in program history, and then the highest score recorded in the MAC at 198.025, as you see on that screen, and that happened earlier this season at a quad meet in Tennessee. Cardinals have been on it all year long.
Jankowski scoring for the uneven bars for Eastern Michigan. She scored a 9.8, so a bit short of her career high, but still good. And now it's Kyrie Lowe on the uneven bars for Eastern.
I love the entrances that we're seeing from Eastern Michigan on the bars. They're getting creative. They know this event is a strong suit of theirs, and they're just trying to have fun with it. Really smooth there. And the judges love to see these gymnasts change direction. Tough dismount, maybe didn't get all of that handstand, but another really solid routine.
Lowe tied for 11th in the MAC on the bars this year. Another stellar performance. Quickly to the vault, Victoria Henry for the Cardinals, the last one in their starting 6.
That's about as good as we've seen from the Cardinals.
There's a reason she's the anchor.
Yeah, look at that reaction. They are fired up about that. Maybe not the best day we've seen from the Cardinals on the vault, but a stellar finish.
Henry this year on the vault, averaging 9.793. Career high, 9.975, just short of the perfect 10. Don't think that's a perfect 10, but a well done vault for Victoria Henry. Was one of our gymnasts to watch.
Yeah, she was, and here's our other gymnast to watch now for Eastern Michigan, Raisa Boris. She is the team leader, the event leader on the bars. Also trying to finish this event off with a bang for Eastern Michigan.
It's Raisa Boris on bars.
These releases have been on point for Eastern Michigan on the bars. Little hop backwards at the end. Maybe not her best, but certainly something for Eastern Michigan to get excited about.
Boris 6th in the MAC on bars this year. So we head over to exhibition, so this will not count for those who don't know. There's 6 gymnasts who will compete in normal competition. They drop one of those scores, but the other one's just trying to get in there. It was Lindsay Garrard on that vault exhibition, but exhibition is so important for all the gymnasts, right, Sam?
Very much so, and Garrard just a freshman from East China, Michigan. So to get these reps in live competition, Jordan, to show the coaches what you can do, and ultimately to compete for a spot in the rotation eventually down the line, it's really huge for these gymnasts, and we're going to see a lot of exhibition work toward the end of the season from just about everybody in the country.
It's Anna Grace McCullough, who will be in exhibition on the uneven bars for Eastern Michigan.
the only event that she's competed in, not in the exhibition this year, has been the floor routine. She's posted solid scores there, but now trying to break into this bars lineup, which is tough. I mean, we've said it before, I'll say it again, bars is the strength of this Eagles squad, so to fight for a roster spot is big for her.
Ball State leading after rotation number 1 as we continue on with some exhibition. Good on both sides. Ball State has such a fantastic season and continuing it early.
Yeah, and it was the finish from Victoria Henry that did it for Ball State, a 9.925. Very solid for her.
Now with Anna Grace McCullough on the uneven bars, they call her AG, and she's one of the team captains for Eastern Michigan.
Doesn't compete a ton, but she is one of those senior leaders, as you said, Jordan. She's got a strong start to her routine. Big step at the end, but really smooth until the dismount from her.
And finally, to end rotation number 1, is Dylan Blair for Ball State in the exhibition.
9.9 start value here on a hand front pike. Pretty solid. Nice power. And these exhibitionists have got to be happy with those routines.
Absolutely, they do. Ball State leads after rotation number 1. Ball State sitting at 49.175, Eastern at 48.950.
Welcome back to Worthen Arena. It is International Women's Month. Here's a look into the women's sports at both of these universities.
Here's to the women who stand, the women who take their lives in their hands, who hold to the truth on point of pain, who are told they're insane and to stay in their lane. Here's to the women who still speak out, the women who say, speak, scream, and shout to make their voices heard. I know there's safety in silence, but you know that doesn't protect you from violence. Here's to the women who fight, the women with foresight, the women who teach, and each of you expanding her reach so that others can fight. Here's to the women who know their worth and what their sisters are worth, who birth daughters for warriors with only their words, and who step down from pedestals, who rise up from doormats, who hang their full weight from barred windows and count reps while making their plans. Here's to those women. Here's to the women who stand.
So many outstanding women at Ball State and, of course, Eastern Michigan as well. And we've seen some outstanding women out there on the floor today. Ball State leads after rotation number 1. Sam, what are we looking at? What's the biggest highlights of rotation 1?
I think for Ball State, they dominated on the vault. Suki Pfister and Victoria Henry, those are the two leaders for Ball State. They both posted 9.9 plus. For Eastern Michigan, maybe not their best day on bars, but now they got a chance to recover with the vault rotation of their own.
Getting ready to get set for rotation number 2. It'll be a flip-flop, Ball State on bars, and Eastern Michigan will be competing on the vault. Rotation 1 in the books. Rotation 2 coming up in just a little bit. But before we get there, let's take a quick recap back at the first rotation.
Solid starts from both sides. As we mentioned, Ball State, tons of power through that first rotation. The vault is kind of where they excel. Eastern Michigan, another one of those teams that also was kind of faced with one of those events where they're usually pretty standout, maybe not their best day. They've got just a little bit of work to do. No 9.9s or above for the Eagles, but the Cardinals were able to post both a 9.900 and a 9.925. Solid starts for both squads.
Victoria Henry, awesome anchor for Ball State in the vault, scored a 9.925, the highest score of rotation number 1. And now it's Eastern Michigan on the vault, Ball State on the uneven bars, a little flip-flop. It'll be Eastern starting things off, and the vault has been an area this year, an event where they have kind of struggled because there's been a lot of injuries.
Yeah, injuries have been the key for Eastern Michigan. When we talked to the head coach of the Eagles, Katie Minnesota, earlier this week, she said she recruited very heavily for this freshman class with the vault in mind. They've had some tough injuries in their youngsters on the vault, so new faces have had to step into this role. They feel that they're getting better as the season goes on. As you can see, 2 freshmen in this vault lineup, but they've got some work to do to close the gap on the Cardinals here early. It's certainly an area that they have seen some improvement in.
And they had 2 other freshmen who were also starting in the vault lineup before they got hurt. That's Gwen Cantu and Jackie Patterson for Eastern Michigan. Starting us off is Janae Daniel.
Big hop at the end, but I'll be honest with you, Jordan, the judges would rather see you hop out farther away from the vault than take a step back, because that means you went into the vault with a little more power, and that's exactly what we saw from the Eagles there. Great rotation, good lines from Daniel. Really everything except the landing was pretty spot on there.
We await Grace Sumner on the bars for the Cardinals. One of the 2 events that she competes in. Averages a 9.637.
One of those few gymnasts that starts on the lower of the 2 bars. She really likes to go to work on those lower bars, which you can't say about every gymnast, but it makes her routine unique. It certainly gets the judges' attention.
Good start for Sumner on the bars for Ball State. And now on the vault, Kyrie Lowe for the Eagles.
We originally thought she might be slated to do all around at this meet this weekend, but not competing in every event, still a super strong young talent. And a really solid routine, a nice vault there as well.
All right, well, the bars, which is what Ball State's competing on right now, it's been a historic season for them, a couple of perfect 10s on the bar. So let's take a look back at this season of the bars for Ball State.
Yeah, Ball State, both Megan Teeter really solid on the bars. We'll see her in just a little bit. And as you said, 2 perfect 10s, but perhaps even crazier, perfect 10s in the same weekend. Zoe Middleton, the other perfect 10 for the Cardinals. It's been an impressive year, and another event where the Cardinals dominate. What event don't they dominate at? They are really strong across the board, Jordan.
2 perfect 10s for a program who never had a perfect 10 on the bars in program history in the same weekend at the same meet. That's pretty impressive.
Very much so. It was the Tennessee Collegiate Classic back in January, so early season for them to put up that scores that really boosted the Cardinals' confidence.
It's Zoe Middleton, one of those gymnasts who had a perfect 10 at that meet.
And you can see why early in this meet she did post, or early in this routine rather, that she did post a perfect 10. As there's a great landing. She does that with such grace and such power.
Middleton 10th in the MAC in bars this year.
Let's take one last look at that dismount. Maybe a little baby hop there at the end, but smile says it all.
Just a minuscule little hop. Shouldn't be too much of a deduction. Still waiting on scores for the vault for Kyrie Lowe. And now we're ready to go.
Anna Grace McCulloch, who competed in the exhibition on the bars for EMU, now steps up to the vault. One of those team captains, as you mentioned, Jordan. Oh, and a tough fall at the end. So that's going to be a significant deduction. It looked really smooth. She had great lines, just lost the balance at the end. But now Eastern Michigan has to pick up the slack, knowing that they're hopefully going to have to drop Anna Grace McCulloch's score.
Well said, Sam. Again, 6 gymnasts will compete in every event. One of those scores dropped. So yeah, a little bit of extra pressure maybe on the other vaulters. To the bars now, and Hannah Ruthberg for Ball State. Ruthberg tied for 8th in the MAC in bars.
I love the power that we're seeing from her here. She's really attacking these bars. This is a physical routine. Oh my goodness, what a landing. That was a crazy dismount.
Ruthberg, a 9.83 NQS on bars this year. Showing you why. So much consistency for the Cardinals.
And that's really important for Ball State to start this rotation off with some big scores. They are loaded in terms of their bars lineup, but to see those 3 routines that we have from Sumner, Middleton, and now Ruthberg is definitely putting the pressure on Eastern Michigan to answer.
We get set for the vault. Abby Brushwood competing for Eastern Michigan. It's a very similar vault to Suki Pfister on the Ball State side of things, and Suki had a great rotation, #1 in the vault.
Big step with the left foot at the end there, but solid rotation. To be able to hit a vault with that degree of difficulty takes a ton of power from just a freshman, and she should be happy with that.
Yeah, it's a 10-0 start value, and of course you have the opportunity to get that 10, but also, like you said, it's a more difficult skill.
Yeah, exactly, Jordan. And the vault, the only of the 4 events that don't automatically start at a 10-0 start value. So to have that degree of difficulty, it says a lot about what she's willing to do as a freshman.
Now it's Ava Molina on bars for Ball State. First time competing in the bars was last weekend. Scored a 9.725. Trying to up that.
Her pace has been solid. She's held her handstands well. It just does not get much better than that. The reaction speaks for itself.
Talked about only time she competed in bars this year. She scored a 9.725. I think that's got a pretty good shot at beating it.
That was pretty stellar from start to finish. And another youngster, another freshman from Loveland, Ohio. That was just excellent. And she's really worked her way into a nice position in that bars lineup for the Cards.
Waiting on the stellar all-arounder, Raisa Boris for Eastern Michigan. But still some celebrations for Molina, and why not after a great routine like that?
Absolutely, and it is senior day for the Cards. They're graduating 4 really top-notch seniors, so to see the future of the program succeed already is pretty solid for Ball State. How about that from Raisa Boris? You look to your leadership to be able to answer when you're down, and the rotation there was great. Really tough entrance into the vault that time. She was able to keep it pretty central between those lines. Both of these teams firing on all cylinders right now. Good to see Eastern Michigan battling despite the fact that vault isn't their strong suit.
And now it's Ashley Szymanski on bars. She leads the MAC in bars this year, 25th in the nation, complete dominance in the Mid-American Conference.
She was named MAC Specialist of the Week earlier this season for her work on bars, and that's ridiculous control on the handstand. Minor hop at the end, but another near-perfect routine.
It's a bastion of consistency for the Cardinals on the uneven bars.
And we're starting to see these scores rack up for Ball State. 9-9 for Ava Molina. Not sure if Szymanski's going to see quite that high of a score, but Ball State has found a lot of success on the uneven bars.
A career high for Ava Molina in the uneven bars. It's now Alana Fisher, the last competitor for Eastern.
How about that? Both of these teams finishing so strong with their anchors. That really gets the butterflies going in the stomach when you have to wait that long to do something, especially as difficult as the vault is, and to land it with that perfection. That's going to be big for Eastern Michigan moving forward.
Good amount of high scores thus far for both squads. Szymanski scoring for Ball State on the bars, 9-8 for Szymanski as we get set for the graduate, Megan Teeter.
Had that perfect 10 like we talked about on the bars earlier this year. Incredible elevation on that release. She's got a nice tempo here. Great change of direction, little step at the end. That's going to cost her, but great power up there on the bars. She controls the apparatus so well.
Teeter fourth in the MAC on bars, hold 3 of the 4 highest scores in bars history, in Ball State program history, I should say. An impressive event as now we end normal play and we're into exhibition again on the vault.
Not a super high degree of difficulty there from Childress, but a solid landing, beautiful execution. And even if you're not starting at that perfect 10 start value, to be able to execute perhaps a less difficult vault that well speaks to what she has in the future for this Eastern Michigan program.
We'll see 2 Ball State exhibitionists as well to end rotation number 2. The Mary Rose Balan and Kai Afala for the Cardinals getting set.
Another youngster here in Mary Rose Bellin, just a sophomore. She's the second gymnast we've seen start on the low bar for Ball State. Nice transitions from one bar to the other. Creative routine, but she's got a really solid pace, really solid rhythm so far. Ball State might have wished that was in their regular rotation. Super smooth that time from Mary Rose Bellin, but that's so important for these coaches, especially entering postseason. They want to be able to see what they've got, even if these gymnasts aren't in the lineup that's going to score. To be able to see that you have depth at an event is big for Ball State. It's big for any program at this time of year.
And we'll see one more exhibitionist for Ball State as well. That'll be Kaya Leaf in exhibition in just one moment here, but final scores of rotation number 2 are in. Ball State scored 49-250 and Eastern Michigan a 48-8 on the dot. So Ball State wins rotation 1 and rotation 2 up overall.
And they have been the stronger of the 2 teams so far, Jordan. Now, they have been faced with 2 events where they feel a lot more comfortable. Bars and the vault. Very much strengths for this Cardinals team. Eastern Michigan, obviously, as we've talked about, not exceptional on the vault, but they at least hung around, and they're hanging around in this meet for the moment.
Again, this exhibition for Ball State.
Yeah, Kaya Fala, a junior, definitely looking for more roster spots heading into her senior year. Such power and poise on the bars. Little step again on the landing, but Ball State sitting comfortable.
Well, they won rotation 1 and they won rotation number 2. Wolf Flip events, we got floor and beam coming up next here on ESPN. Ball State leading after rotation number 2. Some high scores all around, especially on the bars for Ball State in rotation 2. Not too shabby for Eastern on the vault as well. Let's take a look back at rotation 2.
Yeah, rotation 2, again, dominated by the Cardinals. How about Ava Molina, just the freshman for Ball State, but she posted the team high with a 9-9, and then for Eastern Michigan, they were faced with a tough fall from Anna Grace McCulloch, but they recovered well. Lowest score, though, for Ball State on the bars was just a 9-8. So really across the board, the Cardinals were very solid. Eastern Michigan hung around as they head into their floor routines. Ball State now bumping over to the beam.
And Vault, a tough event for Eastern Michigan this year because of a lot of injuries. So how do you bounce back after your worst event, you would say? I mean, now you're heading over to floor and you got a chance to do something special.
Well, we talked with Katie Minnesola earlier this week, the head coach for Eastern Michigan, and she said that this team is very confident, very comfortable on the floor. They just haven't necessarily seen the scores yet. So this is a team that is really chomping at the bit to put on a performance on the floor routine. And it's easy to recover from maybe not your best on the vault with the floor because the floor is so lively. It's bubbly, it's bouncy, everybody's going to get excited. Your teammates are going to be behind you. It's kind of a short-term memory loss thing. You just got to enjoy this floor routine and attack it with confidence.
So it'll be Eastern Michigan on the floor and Ball State on the beam when we come back for some rotation 3 action here in Worthen Arena.
Welcome back. We are switching over to rotations 3 and 4. Here's a look at what beam and floor are all about.
Be sure to show our ladies your support as they show you just how balanced they can be in our next event, the beam. Think you can do a flip with a twist on a 4-inch beam? We can. This is the ultimate challenge of balance and power that requires each gymnast to do leaps, jumps, and tumbling, all while staying on the beam 4 feet off the ground. Look for perfect balance, grace, and a stuck dismount.
Flips, twists, and spins, you will see all of these and more on floor. Watch us shine as we get into the unique combination of artistry, dance, and fun. Now we need your help. This event requires participation, so get up and make some noise.
Ball State on beam, Eastern Michigan on floor. Let's get a little bit into some of the lineups for each team.
And Eastern Michigan, a lot of leadership to start it off in this lineup. Shumati and Fisher, both seniors, so a nice intro for some of those younger gymnasts to see their senior leadership, to see those upperclassmen attack an event like a floor. It really gives them more confidence, and it can grow as the rotation wears on.
And then Ball State will be on the beam as well. An event they call the Great Equalizer. We'll talk about that in a second, but first, the lineups.
Yeah, super strong across the board here from Ball State. It maybe might be their weakest event. It just depends on the day. That's the nature of beam, though. It's kind of its own monster. One little slip up, one little wobble, and it can take your head out of it. You have got to be laser focused from the jump. But again, they're starting off with senior leadership in Victoria Henry. That'll help the team grow with confidence.
So Ball State on the beam, an event that we talked to Coach Salim earlier this week for Ball State. She said that beam, really for Ball State and across all NCAA gymnastics, they call it the Great Equalizer.
Yeah, and that's the reason for that, Jordan, is that there's such technicality associated with the beam. It's scary up there. I mean, you have got to have confidence. It's very much about balance, but you have to attack it with grace. You have to essentially fake it till you make it, to the degree that if you don't go up there and attack it with a smile, attack it with grace, you're going to start to get out of your head. The judges are going to see that you're out of your comfort zone, and then your scores are going to tick down from there. But if you're able to get up there with a smile, you're able to attack it with poise and power, there's no reason for your scores not to come in where you want them.
Gonna be exciting. Has already been a great meet thus far. Ball State leading after rotations 1 and 2. Again, flipping events now. Will be floor and beam the rest of the way. Ball State on beam, Eastern on the floor.
And Ball State feels that they do have a decent amount of depth on beam. Joanna Salim feels that they're really solid 1 through 8, so she can kind of mix and match this lineup. Whoever the hot hand is heading into the postseason is probably going to get the look in the MAC championship. So a lot of flexibility for Ball State to work with in their lineup.
That's an important thing to mention too, because we'll get into exhibition obviously at the end of these rotations, but as MAC championship is next weekend, you're trying to really establish that, give people an opportunity to get scores in real competition. As we get set for the real competition, Victoria Henry for Ball State.
Beam, you you're trying to have just as much fun with it as you are the floor routine. It's still a little bit of a dance as we see kind of a wobble there from Henry, but we're going to see that acro series from her here, one of the required elements, and she attacked that. Nice focus from her right now. She's changing direction well, which is another thing that the judges are going to look for. Not trying to push the pace. As here comes the dismount. Stuck the landing beautifully, Jordan.
Victoria Henry for Ball State, the leadoff on beam, and a great way to start.
And that's kind of a sigh of relief. The weight is off the shoulders of Ball State. Now you've seen one of your fellow gymnasts really nail a routine, and now you can kind of attack the rest of this beam rotation with just as much confidence.
Getting ready for LSU Madi on floor for Eastern Michigan. Talking to Coach Minnesota earlier this week, she said it's fun to watch her personality come out on the floor. Let's watch.
Solid way to start it. The floor routine is such a window into a gymnast's personality, and we really got to see the personality of Shumati there.
Two great starts for each team. Victoria Henry for Ball State, previously on the beam, scored a 9.725. We followed up by Zoe Middleton on the beam for the Cardinals.
A fun way to intro this routine. Another required element there in the leap series. And the judges are going to be watching the feet, watching the hips to see if there's any wobbles. Little wobble there, obviously, but a good save. Can't let that get to your head if you're Middleton. Couple of good saves here. Maybe not her strongest routine, but if she can stick the dismount, she should be happy. Powerful finish. Not a bad routine at all for Middleton. Not her best, but still pretty solid all around for the Cardinals.
A couple of wobbles within there, but a good dismount at the end. And as a gymnast, sometimes don't want to get in your own head with the wobbles, and she was able to recover nicely. It's Alana Fisher on the floor.
Floor. Nice start to the routine. like any event in gymnastics, you're hoping for rhythm and flow. Needs to look smooth, and this routine has. One more pass for her here. This has been a strong routine for EMU. How about this start on the floor for Eastern Michigan? That is two really strong routines to get rolling on this rotation, Jordan.
Ella Shamati previously scored a 9.775. Alana Fisher was just out there, still to be score, but sure to be a high score. Over to the beam, and Ashley Samansky.
Samansky, another freshman. We saw the good work that she did on bars.
She set a career high in beam last week at NIU, scoring a 9.825.
She's a gymnast with such potential for this Ball State team as well. She could score somewhere in the 9.9s range on both the bars and the beams throughout her career. I think she has the capability to do that for sure.
She's only a freshman.
Slight wobble there on that leap, just trying to regain the focus. And if you watch how smooth her movements are, that's something that the judges are really going to appreciate about this routine. Not a bad idea to change direction there, but again, another small wobble as she heads into the dismount. Little step at the end, tried to save that landing, but a solid routine for the Cardinals.
Nearly stuck it. It was so close, and just as you said, that little step at the end.
And beam, as we said, is not the strong suit of this Cardinals team. Definitely an event where they're trying to improve, but perhaps a window of opportunity for Eastern Michigan.
It's Trinity Macy who has competed in floor in the last 3 events. This her 4th.
Great sequence there, little wobble. Great leap at the end. Nice flare. Her form has been nearly on point. One last tumbling pass for her now. Well done. Another solid routine for Eastern Michigan. Just growing for the Eagles right now. Such a strong start.
9.775, 9.825, and still unknown on this one for Eastern Michigan. But as you said, a strong start. So head over to Megan Teeter on the beam. She's got an interesting mount of the beam, different and more risky than a lot of other gymnasts.
Very much so, but that's something that the judges are going to appreciate. They love the creativity. They love the extra difficulty. As it appears we're just having these judges confer scores.
Still waiting on the score of Samansky for Ball State on beam. Looks like they might have got it settled.
Ball State could use a big routine here from one of their leaders. 9.725 and 9.650 for Henry and Middleton to start. So if Teeter can attack this routine and post a good score for Ball State, they might be able to turn this beam rotation around. As we take a look back at Trinity Macy, the transfer from Pittsburgh, what she was able to execute on the floor. Really nice control over those tumbling passes, Jordan.
Absolutely. Megan Teeter about set for the beam. Again, that front tuck mount onto the beam, that's difficult. Here we go. Perfection.
Very much so. Really strong start. And that's going to leave a great first impression in the minds of the judges.
This by the year, Teeter's first year competing in beam.
Oh, that's a tough fall, and that's going to hurt the Cardinals because she had started so strong. You just got to get that out of your head quickly as she's back on the beam in no time. Just trying to stay out of her own head here. Good dismount as well. She's not going to be thrilled, obviously, with the fall, but the intro to that into that routine had been pretty stunning up until she did fall on that acro series.
Over to Abby Brushwood on floor for Eastern Michigan.
She was recruited nearly specifically for this event. And that's why right there, such poise on the mat, on the floor. I love that she's not pinning herself in the corner here. She's giving herself plenty of space to work with. You can see her teammates getting into it too. And this routine has pretty much spoken for itself. Nice series of leaps to finish it there, and all smiles. You could tell she was having a lot of fun. And Katie Minnesola very pleased with her freshman floor specialist.
And Coach Minnesola earlier this week told us just how much fun that Brushwood is having on specifically floor event this year. Saw the smile the whole way through. As Eastern right now dominating rotation number 3.
Another creative intro to the beam here from Hannah Ruthberg. Ball State still trying to turn this beam rotation around. Haven't had a totally clean run yet. Great acro series, slight wobble at the end, but you even saw the smirk on her face there. Her confidence is growing as this routine goes. Leap series incoming here. That was the most flawless leap series we've seen from Ball State thus far. A chance at probably Ball State's best score on the beam if she handles this dismount well. And she does.
Like a statue. Stuck to the ground, nowhere else to go. No hops. Great dismount, great routine for Ruthberg.
And that's big for Ball State because Megan Teeter scored a 9.20 on her beam rotation on her beam routine because of that fall. So Ball State trying to erase that score. The highest they've scored today on the beam is just a 9.725. So they need a big performance from Grace Sumner, their anchor as well, but Ruthberg off to a solid start.
Still waiting on the score of Brushwood on the floor for Eastern Michigan. It'll be Anna Grace McCullough competing next for the Eagles once it's all settled?
Well, we have to imagine that Brushwood is going to rack up a pretty solid score. Eastern Michigan slowly closing this gap on Ball State. We saw 9.825 from Alana Fisher on the floor. I'm thinking probably somewhere in the same neighborhood on the score for Abby Brushwood.
And it's Anna Grace McCullough waiting to go for Eastern Michigan. Next on the floor, still waiting on a score from Brushwood on the prior floor routine. But AG, as they call her, Anna Grace, one of the two best floor performers for Eastern Michigan. It's her and Raisa Boris.
Yeah, and Anna Grace McCullough was the highest Eastern Michigan scorer in the MAC championships last year. She knows how to perform under pressure. Obviously, maybe getting in your head just a little bit here, trying to shake off some nerves, knowing that the score has not yet come in for Abby Brushwood. This is tough on any gymnast mentally, but Anna Grace McCullough, a senior leader for this team, she's not going to let it get to her head, quite like a young freshman would.
Well, we got a little bit of time. Let's flash back to the beam for Ball State. This is Hannah Ruthberg.
Yeah, Ruthberg. Great dismount. I love the creativity that she displayed. She had an interesting intro to the beam and a great dismount as well. And super important to finish your routine strong with a good dismount, because that's the last thing the judges are going to see. And that's the last thing that they are going to judge you on. So if you can leave a good taste in the mouth of the judges, that's going to reflect well on your score.
Anna Grace McCullough, season high, 9.85 on floor. Let's see it.
Good save. Not often that you see a fall on the floor routine, but she saved what could have been a possible fall there. Good string of leaps there. And you can tell that she is just loose throughout this routine, hitting it with some serious confidence. Just trying to feed off the energy of her teammates. That is about as good as you can get to finish a tumbling series. Very, very well done from Anna Grace McCullough.
Now up on the balance beam for Ball State, Grace Sumner.
Now over to the balance beam for the last routine in the top 6 lineup for Ball State. It's Grace Sumner, the anchor on the beam for the Cardinals.
And this is where she specializes. She is the event leader in the beam. 3-way tie on the season on the balance beam with a 9.90, but she's capable of a 9.9250.
Sumner holds the program record on beam. She set that last year at a 9.925.
Great balance from her on that leap series there. A little wobble, but that's okay. Still completed the turn. Dismount, fought for the landing, and that's a really strong way to finish from the anchor.
Sumner came in tied for 6th in the MAC on the balance beam. Well done routine.
And that was a great acro series. That set the tone for the rest of her routine. And you can trust that when you've got your anchor out there, despite the fact that they struggled through the beam, did Ball State, you know that you're going to get a good score posted in Grace Sumner.
Cardinals currently sitting at a 47.90 on the beam, still waiting on Sumner's score, so likely we'll get a little bit higher than the 47.9 they sit at currently. So we still wait for A.G. McCullough to score on the floor.
And if you remember, Megan Teeter had that little whoopsies, that fall on the beam earlier in the rotation. So, as you said, Jordan, her score of 9-0 is probably going to get replaced by Sumner's. But some really impressive scores on the floor routine for Eastern Michigan. Abby Brushwood, a 9.85.
Everyone vibing in Worthing right now. We're just waiting on judge scores, but why not? Get a little dance in there.
Yeah, fun atmosphere, great crowd as always. Gymnastics fever has kind of caught on here at Ball State as it has across the country. You just love the energy. There's really not any energy like it anywhere in sports where the crowd can kind of participate, dance along to the music. It's a fun atmosphere.
While we got some time, let's welcome back in the third member of our crew, JJ Gregston.
I couldn't hear you very well at all.
Some technical issues, but back to the floor, pitching off the anchor, Raisa Boris.
Some intense music and an intense acro series, or an intense tumbling pass there from Boris. Strong start to this routine. She's bringing the fire here on this routine, having a ton of fun with it. She's crushing this right now. The scream's definitely the loudest we've heard, and that's well warranted. Elite routine from Boris there.
Everything about it, the choreography, the song choice, the whole routine. Beautiful. From the anchor, Raisa Boris.
Yeah, both anchors finished strong for Ball State and Eastern Michigan. There's some confidence heading into this last rotation. This will be a fun end to what's already been a fun meet. And Jordan, as it stands, as we head into the exhibition for Ball State on the beam, Lindsey Fuller, Eastern Michigan has their first lead of the afternoon after their floor routine. They're up 48-7-5, or excuse me, they won this rotation 48-7-5 to 48-4-7-5. So a strong start for them heading into the beam, which is one of their best events as well. But I love what I'm seeing from Ball State here in the exhibition and Lindsey Fuller.
Stuck it.
Another reason that these exhibitions are important as well, especially from the Ball State perspective, is that they're trying to take some momentum into the next rotation as well.
In exhibition, Kyrie Lowe for the Eagles.
I love how unique all these different routines have been on the floor for Eastern Michigan. Even now in the exhibition, they're just having so much fun. good form. Solid exhibition work again from the Eagles. We've seen some fun exhibition routines across the board.
We certainly have. We got 2 more to watch as well. Delaney McMahon on bars, or excuse me, on beam for the Cardinals.
McMahon, another freshman, trying to get some live reps in. The Kansas native.
Salim talked about her abilities on the balance beam. She says she's a fantastic beam worker who will mesmerize the audience with her dynamic, high-level skills. Let's get mesmerized.
Good save on the wobble. That's going to be her leap sequence, and that was really well executed. Good dismount as well, similar to what we saw from Ruth Berg. She'll be very happy with that exhibition.
Not the last competitor for Ball State on the beam. We got one more exhibitionist on the floor for Eastern Michigan. It's Priya Carl.
First time we've seen Carl today. Another one of those gymnasts trying to break her way into the lineup. Great verticality on that tumbling pass. Good rhythm on this routine. She's really playing off the music well. Strong way to finish from both sides again. They'll take that momentum from the exhibition now into our final rotation. It's been a fun one so far.
Sure has. Rotation 3, won by Eastern Michigan, but the Cardinals lead the meet overall. We got one more rotation left in the MAC regular season. Some Sunday afternoon action that we got. Ball State leads the meet currently against Eastern Michigan. And they also, well, they lead the MAC currently. Mid-American Conference trying to win back-to-back regular season titles.
Yeah, Ball State, such power in the Mid-American Conference. They've kind of solidified themselves as the team to beat as of late. That one loss came to Western Michigan earlier this year, but Eastern Michigan, one of those squads trying to right the ship. You know, they had a tough year last year in the Mid-American Conference, finished second to last in the MAC championship. They're starting to gather some momentum. They're starting to rebuild, and a lot of confidence heading into the future. It's going to be fun to be back in Worthen Arena here in about a week's time.
It sure will. Rotation 3, that was a fun one. Let's take one last look back at Rotation 3.
Well, Rotation 3 was definitely Eastern Michigan's strongest. They won the rotation for the first time we've seen this afternoon. A 49-1-0 combined team score from the Eagles, and just really across the board, posting in the high nines territory. Good stuff across the board as Ball State struggled a little bit on the beam, but now both teams stepping into their top elements. Floor for Ball State, beam for Eastern Michigan. This should be a fun finish.
Eastern Michigan 1, rotation 3, rotation 4. Well, it's soon to be seen. Ball State on floor, Eastern Michigan on the beam in rotation 4. Ball State leading the meet on its senior day, and we got 5 seniors who will be graduating this year to celebrate. 1 rotation to go, but still some celebrations happening a little bit early, at least for us here in the booth.
Yeah, very much so, Jordan. It's been so great to watch these seniors grow over the past couple of years, and you look down that list, and the legacy that these seniors are leaving on Ball State specifically, those are gymnasts that have really made their mark on this program, and they've put the next generation up and set them up for success as well.
Been competing for a long time, all of them, since they were very young. Dedication to the sport and doing it at one of the highest levels. That was Kelly Sulik you saw last on your screen. She's the manager now, but she's medically retired, used to compete for Ball State, but now a manager and doing some stellar things as a senior.
She very much is. What an inspirational story. You know, give kudos to Ball State and this coaching staff for keeping her around as a manager despite her retirement for medical reasons, but her senior day as well. She'll be honored after today's meet, and just so great to see her stick around the program, leaving a mark in her own way as well.
Talking to Joanna Salim earlier this week, the Ball State head coach, he said that Sulik was not caught up in any of the things that happened to her. She just kind of rolled with the punches. She knew there was nothing she could do about it, but she's dynamic, optimistic, and has positive energy. So it'll be Ball State on the floor and Eastern Michigan on the beam to finish off the meet. Rotation 4. Rotation 3 was won by Eastern Michigan, but the prior 2 won by Ball State. Cardinals currently leading the meet overall.
Yeah, but just barely though. It was rotation 3 was very much Eastern Michigan's strongest, Ball State's weakest. So the score has gotten really even at this point. Both of these teams are going to have to be on point heading into rotation 4. And how about this, Jordan? It's really the 2 strengths of both of these teams competing in this 4th rotation. You can't dial it up much better than that. Eastern Michigan loves the beam. That's not something that can be said about a lot of college teams, but they really own it, and Ball State just loves the energy of the floor routine, and that's going to be backed up by the crowd as well.
Sure will on this senior day. Again, Cardinals trying to go for back-to-back regular season championships. With a win this afternoon, they would secure that. Kent State also sitting at the current same MAC record as Ball State. They're competing against Bowling Green right now. As we start competition in rotation 4, it's Cassie Bergen starting things off.
And beam is really the only spot where you will see Bergen compete with consistency as part of the EMU lineup. Taking her time here early. That was a nice acro series. A really unique way to start off this beam rotation for Eastern Michigan. Crazy balance. Love the rhythm that she's bringing. Oh, and a fun dismount as well. Stuck the landing pretty good. Eastern Michigan, you can see that their confidence is growing. It started in rotation 3, and now it's led and bled into rotation 4.
Trying to steal the meet away from Ball State by Cassie Bergen for Eastern Michigan, who we just saw on the beam. She's been the leadoff for the past 2 or 3 years, set a career high this year of 9.825, and a great dismount.
Yeah, it's all about the dismount, as we talked about. You want the last thing that the judges to see to be your best, and that was certainly the case there for Bergen.
Now we wait on Hannah Ruthberg for completing first on the floor for Ball State.
Already you're hearing the crowd get into it. They love these floor routines. Great intensity from Ruthberg here to start. Keeping those legs glued together on these tumbling passes. This has been a really strong start for Ball State. Tons of fun she's having with this routine. Her tumbling passes were on point. Great way to start for Ball State.
That's Hannah Ruthberg, one of the seniors we're celebrating this afternoon. So we head over to the beam, and it's Kaiten Childress. This her first time competing in the starting lineup at all. Only a freshman. She's on the beam.
Already she's attacking that acro series. Tons of power. Really nice control that time on the leap series. Good save, nearly lost it. Still holding strong though. Landing as well. She'll be very happy with that. You have a feeling the intensity is going to start to grow with as close as this meet is.
Again, that was Childress' first ever competition in the lineup on the beam. And a good dismount at the end. A small little hop backwards, but that'll happen.
It does, Jordan, and at least she was able to save it. It wasn't any dramatic steps, so a good recovery from her.
Over to Carissa Martinez on the floor for Ball State.
She's trying to recover from her lowest score of the season last week against NIU with an 8.975. Strong start. She's having a ton of fun with these dances that she's throwing in as well. And backing it up with just a great tumbling pass. Oh, slight fall there. That's going to be a big deduction. Unfortunate for her because it was such a strong routine up till that point.
So that was Carissa Martinez. We'll head over to Eastern Michigan on the bars, and we'll head down to our sideline reporter, JJ Gregston.
Thanks, Jordan. When speaking with Eastern Michigan's coach, Katie Minnesota, earlier this week, she talked about how fun her group of girls is and how their team dynamic benefits their success in the gym. You can see from both sides today that gymnastics is a very fun sport, and the positive team culture in both teams is very apparent this afternoon as we watch some great gymnastics. Both teams have had so much energy today, including the coaches, who are maybe cheering louder than any of those girls during some of the routines, which is always a quality factor to have when looking for the best teams.
Gotta love the energy. Thank you, JJ. Seen it a lot here in Worthen Arena on both sides. It's Brooke Maycroft on the balance beam for Eastern Michigan. They try to feed her more energy.
And now we've seen a fall on the beam for EMU, a fall on the floor for Ball State, so still very even here in rotation 4. Was really well executed, and how about that stuck landing? Really everything except the fall went super smooth that time.
Good series within, great dismount. And as you said, yeah, stuck it perfectly. No movement on it, but just that fall will lead to a deduction. So on the beam, a 9.675 for Bergen, 9.75 for Childress on her first ever competition. Still awaiting the score of Maycroft. Also awaiting the score of Martinez on the floor. That's what the holdup is here. But before her, Hannah Ruthberg on the floor scored a 9.875.
And that's a strong score for her. About what we expected. It was a nice start in the routine for her. But now Suki Pfister, who's the team's event leader on the floor, posting a 9.95 earlier this year on the floor routine. She's going to bring the fire. She's going to bring the energy. She's just full of such bubbly personality, and she shows it when she's out there on the floor for Ball State.
We talked about that 9.95 she scored earlier this season. That was a program record.
We've seen a lot of program highs, some new records, a lot of firsts happening this year for Ball State. This is a team with just so much momentum heading into the postseason.
And again, trying to win back-to-back Mid-American Conference regular seasons. A win in this meet would secure that. Not yet secured the score for Martinez, though, so we're still awaiting that as we get to see the electric Suki Pfister, hopefully in a couple of moments.
She posted a very impressive 9.9 on the dot in the vault, so it's tough to have to wait between your two events when you're at home, though, knowing that you start on vault and you have to wait around, cheer on your teammates before you handle something that's as physically taxing as the floor. But Pfister always just does it with such confidence, and she's never one to shy away from a stage like this.
All right, the score is in for Martinez. And it's about time for Suki Pfister to show us some fireworks on the floor.
We saw this a couple of times in the last rotation where a couple of EMU gymnasts had to hang around before being able to do their floor routine, but as we mentioned, it did not affect them mentally at all. Posted a really strong rotation across the board. We'll see if Ball State can have a similar reaction to having to wait around for a little longer.
It was a 9.225 for Martinez previously on the floor, and now it's Suki Pfister.
Floor is all about focus and fun, and she's doing both so well here. Well, this has been about as perfect of a routine as we've seen on the floor, Jordan.
It sure has.
Strong finish. Says it all. How about Worthen Arena getting loud for what was a really solid floor routine from Pfister?
Another one of those seniors we're celebrating. What a way to finish it off on the final meet of the season. Now back to the beam. and it's Trinity Macy. Or excuse me, it's Kyrie Lowe.
And a fall to start the routine. Can't let that affect your mentality, as we've mentioned before. What I have liked from EMU after their falls, they get back up on the apparatus quickly. Don't let it phase them. Nice turn there. She's changing direction well as she heads toward this dismount. Little hop, but nothing to scoff at. Obviously, she's not going to be too happy with the fall, but a decent routine.
One last look from Kyrie Lowe on the dismount.
Love the running start that she gets. Plenty of power. And it's tough to tell which fall is going to cost Eastern Michigan more. They're going to have to count one of those falls into their final score.
Now it's time for Megan Teeter on the floor.
Love the confidence we're seeing from Teeter here as she heads into that first tumbling pass. Crazy verticality on that last sequence. Very similar sequence to what we saw from Pfister, and she is crushing this routine. Of the crowd so well. What a routine there.
That's the graduate Megan Teeter in her last regular season competition on the floor. Extremely well done for Megan Teeter. Some great passes for her as well. Let's flash back really quickly to the routine before Megan Teeter. It was Suki Pfister. We talked about how great a routine it was, but we didn't know it was going to be this good. She scored a 9.925. That is just short of the program record, which, by the way, Suki Pfister also holds at a 9.95.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Teeter didn't score in a similar neighborhood with as good of a routine as she had. Raiza Boris now on the beam. She brings the energy for this squad. Nice acro series.
Boris third in the MAC this year.
She's commanding the beam right now. She is the strength of this EMU squad on the balance beam. And she's proven it with this routine. Great landing. How about that?
After two falls previously, a good way to follow it up for Eastern Michigan, and a great dismount.
And those falls are obviously going to hurt Eastern Michigan, knowing that they have to count one, but they are still in this meet, especially if they can put up performances like that.
Now to the sophomore, Zoe Middleton.
Breathtaking. Really smooth choreography here.
That was Zoe Middleton. She's third in the MAC on floor this year. That's a season high of 9.925 on the floor. Another great performance.
We've seen some really strong stuff out of Ball State on the floor. Time for EMU to respond.
This is the final in the lineup. It's Ella Shamati for the Eagles.
They need a big routine out of her here because they're going to have to count a 9-3-2-5 to their overall team score.
Good save.
Great save there. Nearly lost the balance. Really smooth leap sequence there. Changing direction now into this dismount. That one's going to impress the judges. Great finish.
Feet glued to the mat. She was going nowhere. Take one last look at it.
Yeah, great lines on that dismount there. She'll be happy about that.
The final in the lineup of 6, Victoria Henry on the floor for the Cardinals.
She's our gymnast to watch for Ball State, and this event is one of the big reasons why. Slight step at the end there, but that's the only flaw that I've seen. More fun choreography with this dance. Ball State loves to get into the rhythm of the music on the floor. This place is as loud as ever. Wow, great routine.
The anchor of the floor lineup, Victoria Henry. That's impressive.
And that was the final tumbling pass right there. That was just spectacular from Henry.
Now into exhibition, it's Alana Fisher for Eastern Michigan. Final score in for rotation 4 for Eastern Michigan. Scored at 48-3.
I think, Jordan, if I'm doing the math right in my head, Ball State might have already secured that victory. They've already got Eastern Michigan beat here on the score for rotation 4. Even if Henry does replace one of those scores, that's only going to add to Ball State's tally. Good dismount there. That was a fun way to finish from Fisher.
A great exhibition run. Take one last look at this dismount. couple more exhibitionists to go as well, but let's take a look back at some of the floor routines that we've had for Ball State before we get into Lindsay Garrard and her floor routine. Victoria Henry just scored a 9.9, and before that, Zoe Middleton a 9.25. That ties a career high.
Yeah, great work from Zoe Middleton. That 9.925 is huge. And now they just get to have fun with these final couple of exhibitions. Slight step there from Lindsay, but she's still having a ton of fun with this routine. Couple of wobbles on the landing, but that's why you get in these practice runs. Great height on that last tumbling pass again. That's one of the strengths of Ball State.
That was Lindsay Garrard in exhibition for Ball State. Exhibition in floor and vault in this meet. As we head over to the final exhibition for Eastern Michigan and Katie Butler.
She has a fun intro to her routine on the beam. This should be her acro series here. A nice change of direction. That's not something you always see on the acro series, to go from one direction to the other. You're seeing her confidence grow here for the Eagles. Judges are always going to love to see a smile on the face of the gymnasts as well. They want to know they're having fun out there despite their focus. And Butler smiled from ear to ear really this entire routine. Little wobble, but she was just thrilled throughout that routine. Fun stuff for Eastern Michigan.
At the final exhibition is for the Eagles. We got one more for the Cardinals coming up before we round off this meet.
And Butler, a senior for the EMUs, for this EMU team. So
talk about that smile.
Yeah, one last chance in the exhibition to compete for your team. She was thrilled after that.
The final exhibition is Kai Afala for the Cardinals.
Ball State really stressing the height that they're getting on these tumbling passes. That's what separates them from the rest of the MAC. These last couple of gymnasts for Ball State have just nailed it on the floor. Great height again, wow.
That was Kaya Fala on the exhibition on the floor. Ball State won the meet, but we will be right back in just a second here to talk more about this stellar Ball State victory. Ball State with the the victory in this meet and also winning the MAC regular season. I'm sure Coach Joanna Salim is happy about that. So let's send it down to JJ Gregson, who's standing by with Coach.
I'm here with Coach Joanna Salim. Coach, today you guys defeated the Eastern Michigan Eagles. How do you take the energy from today into the MAC championships here in Muncie next week?
I think we take out of what we did today and say, okay, look, even though things weren't where we want them to be on beam, we can come through, and it's never over until you get to that last routine. I think that's always an important thing to keep in mind in the sport, is not to give up, even if things aren't quite where they want to be, but to stay present and have fun as you're finishing every routine.
And it is senior day for you guys today. How has your senior impact played into the success of your team this season?
Oh, it's a huge impact. All four of those ladies have been phenomenal leaders. They've been energized. They've been focused on what they're trying to do. Just their poise whenever they're out on the competition floor, and their focus on the days that it's hard. It's been something that's just been really appreciated and has helped lead all of our team where we needed to go.
All right, thank you, Coach. Good luck next week.
Thank you.
The seniors did great. The whole team did great. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from today's meet.
Yeah, strong start and strong finish was the key for Ball State. They nailed the vault, never looked back. You heard Coach say they struggled on beam just a little bit, but the ability of Ball State to finish with a 49.5 on the dot for their team score on the floor routine was huge. Eastern Michigan came to play, though. They had such a strong start, kept it close heading into that last rotation. A couple of mishaps on the beam, but overall, both of these teams riding some nice momentum into the MAC championship next week.
Cardinals controlled the meet for a good portion of it. And we'll take a look back at some of the meet scores that we got from today.
And again, as we'll see, Ball State pretty much dominated the majority of this meet. Struggled on the beam, as you saw there, with a 48.475. Eastern Michigan did the best on the floor of their total, of all those apparatuses, so a 49.1 for them. But great start, great finish for Ball State. They're going to be very happy about where they're sitting, obviously, now that they're MAC regular season champions.
Back-to-back MAC regular season champions, the Ball State Cardinals. Today's Ball State Sports Link production was produced by Rachel Henderson and directed by Nate Locker. So for Sam Niger and JJ Gregson, I'm Jordan Klein saying so long from Muncie, Indiana, where the final score is not 196.40, 195.150. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.